Hello. Well, as I'm sure you're aware, I mostly concentrate on audio and video technology on my channel. But today we're doing something kinda related. It's about this. It's a Sharp PC-1245 pocket computer from the early 1980s. And you'd say, well, what's that got to do with audio and video technology? Well, let me tell you. This marvellous little basic computer was designed to have an interface which you could plug in, which would have a microcassette tape recorder and a printer. So you could save and load programs and data to those tapes. And there's some mention of it here. I've got some of the original tapes here that explain how to work this machine. Obviously there's a user manual as well. And there was this interface, the CE-125, that was the printer and microcassette recorder. But that was expensive. I couldn't afford that. So I figured, very likely, that the audio and video inputs, sorry, not video, audio in and out on this are likely to be normal line level. That was my guess. And there was a clue I had. And this is it. When you say C load, which means cassette load, listen. Sounds like it's picking up mains hum. So, way back in the 1980s, I stuck my finger in the various pins here and found it would make more noise with my finger in one of the inputs, one of the pins. So I thought, well, that's going to be the input then, isn't it? And similarly, when I set this to save, so I'll do a cassette save and gave it a name, this would make a sound, and I could put my oscilloscope on here and detect which was the output. And it wasn't terribly hard to work out which was the ground either. So I built an interface, and it consists of a connector to fit this, a load save switch, and I seem to remember DC blocking capacitors in there to be on the safe side. And then the other end, 5-pin DIN plug for in and out. And the great thing about this is there's no mucking about with setting the play level or record level or anything. As long as you work at line level, that would just plain work. No messing about, and the automatic record level of your recorder would handle any small adjustment it needed to make. And I had, and still have, a really, really good blaster. Let me show you. These were a little underrated. It's a Sanyo. And what makes these special, compared to things like Hitachi that used to have better speakers and better amplifiers, where Sanyo put the effort in is the recording quality. The cassette deck is top notch. It's got Dolby, not that we want to use that in this case, but it has Dolby and metal and really good noise figures. Really the very best cassette deck you could get on a portable of the time. So it made a great recorder for use with this. So let's give this a whirl. Oh, and also we've got these marvellous cassettes here. Shall I think there's 4 sides to these. So shall I play a little bit of one of these? Tell you what, I could actually digitise them, couldn't I?
Sean's got an idea, indeed, we've got the ideas you need. Sean's got an idea.
This tape is designed to help you get to know your new Sharp PC-1245 pocket computer.
Oh, excellent. Okay, so I'll digitise those and make them available. Oh, by the way, look, full auto stop. Bit slow, but full auto stop on a blaster, which was pretty good in its day. Right, I had made a cassette with various recordings, the earliest of which it looked like I've scrubbed out, but they came from 1983, so it pretty much tells you when this was made. Let's hook this all up and see if I can load some programs into this, if I can remember what the commands are. The user manual for this is available online anyway, if I get stuck. So we'll plug that interface in. Right, put cassette in and rewind it. from what I remember, you don't necessarily just load one program. You load all the memory, and then you can access individual programs. I think it's with this. It looks quite well worn, the def button, because you press def and a letter, and that will take you into your program. So at the moment, go into the program mode on this, it's blank. Right, let's load something in. Tell you what I'll do is I'll set you up so you can look down on this so you can see better what we're doing. Okay, so my labels here have long since got pretty worn off, but I think I need to flick that to load. And then the command I think is cload, cassette load, C-L-O-A-D. You can kind of hear that buzzing noise. Let's turn the volume down on the stereo, press play. Sounds like it's doing something. Aha, promising. Let's zoom you in a bit. Error 8, so I'll take it that that was a fail. Oh, that's a pity. I wonder if the tape's not in good condition. It is pretty old. I think we type new to wipe it. If there's any rubbish in there. I'll clean the heads on the cassette deck and we'll try again. Cassette load. There's probably a shortcut to that, but I don't know what it is. I believe that's worked. Stop the cassette deck. If we look in the program area now, if I use the arrows, yes, we have something. Now exactly what these programs do, I don't know. We'll look at this one for B. Take some input, can do errors, produce some output. Shall we give it a whirl then? So we put it into the run mode and go def B, I think. Ah, right. I had something about overtime on this. This is an overtime calculator. Oh, let's give this a whirl. This would be for some job or other that I did way back in the 1990s. So let's pretend I was on, I didn't get very much money in those days, let's pretend I was on £12,000 a year. And was I being called out? Yes, I was being called out. There was an emergency. And let's say I had to do 4 hours of standard rate and 3 hours of double time. Must have been on a Sunday or something. Then after tax, I'd have got £50.96p. Oh dear, that's not very good, is it? I think I'd rather stay at home. That's magnificent. So go back to program, and there are lots of other programs in here, but I don't know what they all do. I could have a play with some. I don't know what this one does. Def C. Let's try it. Def C. It could be something really inane. Price. I don't know. What does it mean? Is this something to do with discount? I used to get discount in a shop. Oh, yes, that's right. I used to get discount in a shop. And, oh, yes, quite good discount sometimes. Ah. And one last one. Well, I think we can see what that does. You put in the real and imaginary components of a number and it'll give you the magnitude and angle. Wonderful. So that was some little program that I wrote for whatever reason. So that works really well, and if I type new it would clear the entire memory. So if you didn't have an interface like this, it would be really quite depressing if somebody wiped out all your work. So the obvious question that anybody is going to ask me who has one of these things is exactly what's the wiring of this interface. I suppose I better open it and have a look, hadn't I? Let's see what's inside. It's a bit... could have been built better. Tell myself to go back and build that better. But yes, DC blocking capacitors appears to be all there is. And I think you can see which are the pins that are relevant there. So they will be ground in and out. But I'm not quite sure which is which. And I'm not sure I really want to find out right now. I think you've probably got enough information if you wanted to build one that you could work it out from that. Something else I remember about this unit is that there are some undocumented commands on it. So if we type, for example, peak and give it a number, and I'm just going to guess any old number, how about 32768, sounds like a good computer number, then we, I think, get a response. Yes. So what I did many years ago is I went through doing peaking of various parts of the ROM and was able to locate more undocumented commands in this, some of which did something and a lot of which just locked it up. But it was an interesting exercise in sort of doing a bit of a dump of the internal ROM. But you only had 2.2K RAM, 1486 steps, which isn't very many. But you were still able to pull off, something reasonable with the basic. So 3 steps, mem enter. Let's try that. See how many we have. Now we have that program loaded. 149, so not many left now. 3 memories. Not sure what that means. Oh yes, I remember that. Using, and these would allow you to format printout. So that would be up to 4 characters, dot 2 characters. So I hope you've enjoyed having a quick look at this wonderful little computer and the interface I've built for it. I will include in the description below links for the MP3 files of what is on the introductory cassettes that came with it. I will be doing a lot more content on audio and video technology in the future, so please remember to like, share and especially subscribe. Bye for now.